Next pick.
Number 2. This comes from Adam at Mear and Gray Guitars. As far as experience, he's been building 1 year, and he says at the moment it's a side gig for him, but his partner Nick, it's full-time. He's inspired by luthier-made copies of Golden Era guitars, tried to make instruments that have that vibe and sound of those gorgeous instruments, but without the six-figure price tag and any of the structural issues that plague these beautiful, I'm thinking vintage instruments.
Yeah.
I picked this one. Okay, first of all, I'm just a sucker for Martin copies. And I think I might be speaking out of turn here. I think it's probably easy to copy the shape and the look. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably far harder to copy the tone. Again, this is from a player's perspective. This is not from a builder's perspective. So I feel like I have to throw that caveat in there. But this OM that he's playing, I'm pretty sure it's an OM. It might be subtly smaller. Blew me away. I heard the sound clip before I even looked at the pictures. And I just, let's listen to it first, and then we can dig into the tone.
Cool.
Okay. I think it's the playing that got me, to be honest. But he's bringing out such wonderful clarity in the guitar, and the bass is so supportive. And I think a lot of times Golden Era Martins can be just confused with just this huge booming bass that's overwhelming. And to the best of my knowledge, he's playing a new guitar, and I can kind of imagine that guitar in 5-10 years and how much more woodiness is brought out of it, because the clarity is there. I think this guitar is a wonderful example of a modern luthier paying homage to the golden era of, Martin, to be honest. I mean, it's striking. It's strikingly beautiful. I think it's hard to conjure up beauty in a design that's been copied and copied and copied and copied. I think he just did a great job. I'm floored by the instrument.
Yeah. So, interesting story. Okay. So I really wanted to include the Mear and Gray guitars on my shortlist, but I couldn't because I didn't want to be accused of nepotism. So full disclosure, Adam, who is playing the guitar here, was my very first client. Yeah. So Adam commissioned my very first guitar back in 2015 or so, and he's now working with Nick Mear, who built the guitars, and they're now producing guitars under the Mear and Gray banner, and like you say, wanting to do these faithful reproductions of the Golden Era Martins. And so Adam is a very dear friend of mine, and I'm slowly getting to know Nick as well, the luthier behind the builds. So when they submitted this, I'd not heard the guitar before, and I wasn't sure what to expect, because as far as I know, Nick is self-taught and built his first kind of few guitars on the kitchen table. Like many new luthiers do. But when I heard this, I'm familiar with Adam's playing, obviously because he's played my guitars. He's still a terrible player. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, listening to this, I too was blown away by the tone and the quality and the body of the tone, because it looks to me like this is this a mahogany guitar?
Yeah,
Or
you know,
Sapele or some?
I would I would think it's Sapele. This is more in your court than mine,
Yeah, it looks to
but
be a mahogany of some kind.
yeah,
So I was really kind of stunned when I heard the sound of this instrument, because it really is full bodied, it's articulate, it's none of the things that I would typically associate with a mahogany guitar, and
yeah,
certainly not a guitar of that size. It's rich, it's got loads of overtone, you know, content going on there, but it's really nicely balanced,
yeah.
and it's just, yeah, super impressed. Super impressed with this, and it looks beautifully made as well.
Yeah, I'm floored by the grain spacing on the top. In fact, I want to say he submitted a picture with a ruler on it, and the grain lines are just like they're 10 miles apart. There's like
Oh, really?
it's just yeah, it's crazy. I think it's really hard. I think in general it's really hard to stand out in this arena of guitar
Yeah,
making.
yeah,
I think this guitar definitely does stand out. I think it's a really strong instrument, and like you said, not what I expected from a mahogany OM.
no,
Um,
no.
Beautiful, just beautiful work. Yeah, great playing, beautiful work.